Alright, part 2.
Yeah, here's part 2 of the Strikeforce post-fight analysis. Josh Thompson won by unanimous decision over Jessius Jay-Z Cavalcante. I mean, even Thompson even Thompson said, how the hell did I get 30-27? You know what I mean?
Okay, time out here. If you have a fighter come out to say, how in the hell I got this kind of score, something is wrong, isn't it?
I'm really glad Thompson brought this up because, like, no one else will. I mean, he's coming off a win, so obviously the fighters coming off the win aren't going to incriminate themselves, you know, and say, oh, you know, because when people are asked about the judging, it's like, oh, you know, it's up to them. I don't do it. But Thompson's all like, you know what? I won the fight, but I didn't get 30-27. I mean, that was really cool of Thompson to do, and that was true. Jay-Z got round 3. I mean, I don't know how to say it. He got top control on, even got mount, and I picked Thompson to win. So, you know what I mean? He got mount. He stayed on top like throughout the whole time. You know, he did unleash some ground and pound. He did kind of hold him for a while, but for you know, Thompson just tried to really get up. It's not like he mounted much offense from the bottom, anyways. You know, he was just trying to get up. Round 2 was all Thompson, but round 3 was all Cavalcante. You know, if it were a split 29-28, cool. Unanimous. I mean, I guess I can see it too for any one of these guys, though. I mean, but you know, 30-27. You know, it's like,
somebody just tell me what the heck was going on there. I mean, what were they thinking? Okay, you say round 2, give to your guy. Round 3, give to my guy. Round 1 is Evie. What kind of score was that?
Yeah, round 1, speaking of the iffy score in round 1, I mean, it was pretty much the offense from the beginning was kind of back and forth. It's hard to say until Jay-Z actually pretty much clipped and more or less dropped Thompson.
Drop.
And then he got an arm in guillotine and held it for a while. Okay. Thompson fought out of it, ended up on top.
For the last 50 seconds.
Yeah.
So.
Or so. And then he worked an arm triangle, and then the bell rang.
Okay,
so,
technical speaking, alright. I mean, isn't it? It's very easy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny it.
So how in the world no judge see that?
I don't know. I mean, you know, I actually said during the broadcast, this is Thompson's hometown, so you know, I don't know if they gave some hometown favor, you know, to the hometown boy.
I really
maybe.
think, you know, MMA is such new and you know, blood pumping sport. We don't want to give it bad reputation like this. The judging system has to, you know, I don't know what we need to do, but this is not the first time. This is not a second time. This has been, you know, happening UFC, happening here.
I'm in Bellator pretty recently, Frausto versus Aguilar.
Somebody give me a break. What is this?
Well, the problem is you got these boxing judges from the Athletic Commission. I mean, one thing people have to understand is the UFC or Strikeforce don't choose the judges. It's the Athletic Commission. It's not really in their hands per se, you know.
But you know, when there's a casual fan or some other, you know, some people will think this, you know, the UFC's fault, Strikeforce fault. You know, if they don't know that the judge just, you know, I mean, those organizations can pick their judges. I mean, I didn't know that in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, it's all up to the Athletic Commission, and the problem is with the people that get to judge. I mean, the criteria to even become one, to become a ref or a judge, is really tough. It really is like a good old boy system, pretty much, where it's like who you know and not what you know, pretty much. You know, if I know Keith Kaiser and I'm his good buddy, maybe I can get on the inside, you know, and be a judge, or you know, or something like that. You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know firsthand, personally, but you know, it's kind of like the stories I've heard. that it's pretty much who you know, not what you know. This is just one of those things I'll probably be fixed over time. When these judges are gone, you get new judges hopefully actually know MMA. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Same with refs too. Well, the refs. Some refs are good. Like when I see Rosenthal on, it's like, yeah, Rosenthal. He judged the Brock versus Carwin fight. He didn't stop the fight. He's done a good job. Or like Herb Dean or Big John McCarthy, of course. But with the judging now, hopefully, it's a tough thing. Especially with there's so many things about MMA too. Well, he dropped him, but then he got the guillotine. Oh, but this guy ended up on top,
Bullshit.
and he worked an arm triangle. So it's kind of like,
but again, I cannot. Okay, I see where the judge coming from, but it seems so one-sided. Okay, unanimous decision, disregard what we just talked about. Come on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is what it is. You saw it with Dunham versus Shirk, Frosta versus Aguilar, just Tyson Griffin versus Evan Dunham. You can just name a lot of fights. A lot of Leonard Garcia fights where he's punching air, and somehow he gets, one judge scores it for him.
And look at this. Conflicante Davis and your boy, they both are tough fighters. You cannot say, oh, Conflicante should be, knock out Thomas. He's trying, dude. He tried all his best. He tried to submit a guy. He tried to drop the guy. What more do you want from him?
Oh, the UFC always says don't leave the fight at the hands of the judges. I don't like it. Fighters do have accountability during the fight, obviously, to win the fight.
Well, try to go there yourself, Mr. Judges, to see whether you can drop somebody.
And then, but once it hits the decision, the accountability should fall to the judges.
Absolutely.
The fighters fight, and a lot of them tried to finish. If the judges can't see that, then there's something wrong with the judge, not the fighter. You know what I mean?
So how come that doesn't happen to a wrestler when they just on top and not doing anything?
Well, that's a lot of the bigger problem. There is a lot of judges don't know the rules. I was just reading an article pretty recently, and pretty much in the Unified Rules, a takedown actually doesn't mean anything because you are simply changing the position of the fight from standing to going to the ground. But the fact of the matter is, you're not. Besides the takedown itself, unless it's like a slam or something, you're not actually doing damage if you're lying on top. In the sense of, doing damage. Obviously, there's body weight and whatnot, but otherwise, you're not throwing strikes to do like real significant offense. But the thing is, a lot of people don't want to. These judges don't also want to score 10-10 rounds, so that makes it tough too. And
let me ask you a question: have you seen any single fight like misjudged when the wrestler is on top of the other guy and doing nothing? Have you seen the other guy win over the wrestler? No.
Rarely. It does happen, but it is rare.
Okay. But with the fight like this, those two guys go at it and they try to do their best and score like this. It happened pretty recent, and they happen continuously. That makes me feel like I should just go try and be a wrestler and on top of the guy, and I probably 10 out of 9 I will win.
Well, yeah, I'm not big on that style of fighting of lay and pray. But that's not what happened in this fight.
I know it's now, but it seems that way the judge will always say, "Oh, you won because you're on top." Great.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest problem too. When you start seeing that, people start becoming conditioned to that idea that like, oh, he's on top. But what's stupid is like, okay, 4 minutes of the fight is standing. Let's just say 5-minute fight. You have 4 minutes of it standing. Okay. Well, one guy gets a little more offense over the other guy, right? 1 minute left. He gets a get a takedown to win the round. It's like, well, what happens to that 4 minutes of standing? Why is it just gone because this guy got a takedown in the last minute?
The weight is so off.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I'm not against wrestling and MMA.
Wrestling is awesome.
This is not some indictment against wrestling and MMA.
If you're good, if you're a wrestler, you have a good wrestling technique. You control a guy. You do some damage. Oh, of course,
Yeah, I'm not against wrestling and MMA. I am more or less against stalling in MMA too. Utilizing wrestling or clinching against a cage, because it's like you're just trying to kill the clock. I mean you can say that in basketball. Oh yeah, basketball players are trying to kill the clock, but eventually you have to shoot the ball. With these guys, they want to just kill the clock without even throwing a punch. Sometimes, you know what I mean. So I'm just not big on stalling, pretty much. I have nothing against wrestling, especially when someone wrestles, tries to pass guard, tries to stay active on the bottom. Yeah. That's the thing. But we're kind of going off topic, to be honest.
Let's go to part 3.
Okay.
Let's really talk about the next fight.
Okay. Yeah, Diaz versus Williams is next in part 3. Thanks.